Okay, so we're outside the conference center here. We can see the conference center, the gates of the conference center behind us, and we're with some members of the Canadian youth delegation who are not able to return inside the conference center anymore. Tell us what happened.
So today the six of us stood up and turned our backs on the Canadian government, just as the Canadian government has turned its back on us by actively negotiating on behalf of the tar sands and compromising our futures. So we wanted to send the message that Canada needs to start putting the interests of people ahead of polluters.
So when you say you turned your back on the Canadian government, what exactly did you guys do?
We stood up in the plenary session, removed our sweaters, and turned our backs on Peter Kent, the Minister of the Environment, displaying the message that you saw on the back of my shirt.
And what happened when you did that?
We made a very strong statement to the Canadian government that youth have the duty to represent our own voices when they are being actively ignored.
And did you say anything at the time, or were you silent the whole time this was happening?
We were silent.
And then what came next?
We were escorted out by security.
And you've lost your badges, you're not allowed to return?
No, we are not. Accreditation to us is irrelevant when our futures are at stake and the government is not listening to our concerns.
So what are you calling on the government to do specifically?
We're calling on the government to start putting the interests of the people it represents ahead of the interests of the oil and gas industries in Canada.
What would that look like?
That would look like ending fossil fuel subsidies and creating a green and just economy for Canadians, investing in job creation for young Canadians.
Canada's come under a lot of pressure here from local South Africans who say that Canada was a great ally during the anti-apartheid struggle, and that seems to have all disappeared over the years.
Well, as you have seen during these negotiations, it's clear that Canada is not representing the people of the country, and they're just here representing the voices of industry. So we are very inspired by the people power of South Africa and have a duty to represent those voices that are not being heard.
And this isn't the first time that Canadian youth have stood up against their government. There was a very vocal protest in Parliament earlier this year, wasn't there?
The issue here is that Canada is not paying attention to youth or impacted communities. They're negotiating on behalf of polluters at COP17, so that's what our focus was today.
And now that you're outside the conference center, what are you able to do to keep pressing your message?
Our entire delegation is very active, and we are still pushing our voices and making our voices heard in whatever way we'll be able to.
Great, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Success, thank you.